Hey everyone, James Hurst with The Marketing Show. I got a special guest, Don Bavaro, with me. He's a SaaSpreneur Gold winner. We hung out since the ClickFunnels days. He's got his little 2 comma club there. I've got my little dream car. But today I wanted to talk a little bit about email deliverability. So I've been sending these emails, and I think I just want to take a little bit of time and say, hey, Dom, am I doing this right? Do you have any ideas? Like, could we do like this audit and just kind of just go over things and just see if I'm doing things by the book. So, Dom, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me on, James. Yeah, and we go back. I think it was you actually helped me get my ClickFunnels, something in ClickFunnels back in like 2018, helped me get going.
Awesome.
I can't remember what it was, but
and before the call, we were talking about our YouTube channels and just how much fun that is. And in fact, we'll show you his channel and how you guys can get in touch. But let's jump right in and just get right into an email audit on HighLevel.
Perfect.
You guys see that coming through okay there?
Yes.
I will preface this with that I'm already on LC email. So let's just call that our starting point. What should I do? To just double check that I've set things up correctly? I've sent a bunch of emails. We can like inspect things and like troubleshoot, but what should I do?
All right. So the first thing to kind of run through, if you're on this will work whether you're on LC email or if you're on Mailgun proper, right? So I'm going to try to speak in not specific high level terms, but kind of general concepts, but we'll look and I'll show you how they manifest inside of HighLevel. Okay. But first decision, kind of where to check. If you are on the first biggest factor in your deliverability, because I think that's why we're doing this, right? Is deliverability, is your email IP address reputation.
Okay.
Now, you should, if you're doing everything right, but you're still not delivering, you might be on an IP with a bad reputation, which is why as you get bigger, consider a dedicated IP, but not till you're sending like 100,000 emails or more per month. Like you got to get fairly big before you start going dedicated IP.
Okay.
But at the very least, you should start on a dedicated domain. Okay. Your IP is the biggest reputation or determining if your reputation. Under that, but not by much, is your domain.
Okay.
So HighLevel agency. All agency owners should, at the very least, get off of Message Sender and onto a custom domain for your agency.
Okay. I've done that. So where should I go? Just go to settings.
Go to settings.
Email
go to email services. And then right here. Now, if you go into your default provider and you see, mg.messagesender.com there? Right. You're sharing your reputation with all 70,000 HighLevel agencies.
Okay.
So you got a spammer or a scammer, they could be messing up your deliverability. So
don't do that. If you see that there, and I like this. So that's there's dedicated domains and dedicated IP addresses.
Correct.
And one's more expensive and probably down the road for most people, right?
Yes. So right now, 99% of people watching this will be shared IP, dedicated domain.
Yep. No. So we recommend one dedicated IP address for if you're sending 100,000 emails a month, which you can get up to that, right? I mean, because you think if I have a list of 5,000 people, if I'm emailing that
20 times a
month, almost daily. So it's not unheard of, but probably for most people not.
Yeah. Most people aren't going to get there.
We're talking about dedicated domains, not dedicated IP address. We don't need a dedicated IP right now.
Correct.
Likely. Okay.
Yeah, likely. I mean, and on HighLevel generally keeps their IPs in good reputation anyway. So if you go some of the other providers get response, they let anybody send anything, and sometimes the deliverability can suffer. So you see there where it says dedicated domain and IP on the right.
Yeah, right here.
Take a look at that. Yeah.
That's where I just was. I believe.
Okay. Yeah. I want to call everyone's attention down to this notification section on the bottom there.
Okay. Yes.
So on the bottom there, so this is going to be at the agency level. You don't have this. You're not going to have this inside of a sub account. But at the agency level, this is going to be the domain that your password resets, your SaaS logins, all your like utility emails kind of go out that no one ever clicks on or replies to.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of going out on that domain as a sacrificial kind of domain, right? Because if people don't interact with email, it hurts the reputation. So you want your marketing to go off of your regular domain and you want your notifications going off your notification domain. So if that gets messed up, it doesn't hurt your marketing messages that make you money.
Got it.
So looks like you're good there.
Okay.
Now let's move down to the sub account level.
Okay. You want me to switch over to a sub account?
Yeah.
What about this idea of the default one? Like if I had like this a brand new sub account and it was gonna like um inherit the domain from the agency if I don't use anything else, like this default idea.
That's fine, right? So all right. So what that would be like. So when you set up message sender, you're grabbing the proper high level reputation. When you set up the dedicated at the agency level, all of your sub accounts are borrowing the reputation of your agency. So it's the same thing on a little bit more of a micro scale.
So for example, this is a sub account that I just made just for some testing, right?
Yes.
I haven't set up any kind of thing specific for this sub account.
Okay. So yeah, so now they're borrowing your DDX web.
So if I don't do anything, it's just going to pull from my agency.
Correct. It'll be Ashley at m dot or ashley.com via m.ddxweb.com. It'll still deliver. They'll still have their own thing. You'll just see a little via on the sent box in Gmail.
Whereas this is a account I use a lot, jameshurst.com. And I've got a specific subdomain for this sub account.
Correct. Yeah. Now, it's good that you bring this up because the other one was m.ddx. This is jameshurst.ddx.
Yes.
Email service providers view each different subdomain as its own domain, and each subdomain has its own reputation associated with it. Okay. So I see a lot in the group where people go, I just want to be at ddxweb.com.
Right.
Generally don't want to do that for marketing blasts, because if that one gets flagged, every subdomain gets burned as well.
Mm-hmm.
So if you send from jameshurst.ddxweb and that one gets flagged, you can just go jameshurst2 at ddxweb and start fresh.
Got it.
So generally, I only want that regular route to be one-to-one emails that go out.
Yep. Like a Google Workspace.
Exactly.
Something
Yeah,
like
a lot
that.
of people, a common configuration is to have that on Google Workspace and your mail dot whatever on HighLevel.
Got it.
So that looks good.
Okay.
There. If we go to your DNS, because I know if people may have set this up old school and don't have a DMARC record.
Okay.
That's
do we want to go to that service where
oh yeah, MX Toolbox.
Okay. So
mxtoolbox.com.
Okay.
So generally, go ahead.
If I'm going to check the health of this guy here.
Yes. So before I set that up, what I'll want to do is check it at mxtoolbox.com. You can check the MX lookup, just put it in there.
Okay.
And this is going to check to let you know if you have a DMARC record available. So you'll see how it says record published, yes. DNS record, yes. By default, and I have not seen any adverse effects from doing this. You see how it says the quarantine reject policy is not enabled?
Mm-hmm.
If you go into the DNS record for DMARC, it'll say P equals none.
Mm-hmm.
Which means it doesn't do anything, right? That's the policy not existent. So sometimes you can go like P equals quarantine or P equals reject. And basically, if it gets something that's not quite authenticated, you won't even see the email. I leave it at none because I want everything ending up in the conversations tab and I can sift through it manually.
Okay. So
that's there.
This is looking good.
Yes. Now let's go and check a blacklist check.
Okay.
So we go to blacklists. Same domain.
Okay.
Everything's green. Perfect. Good. You don't want to see any green. You don't want to see any reds there, because if you get blacklisted, well, that is going to get blocked. Anybody who uses that server is going to, anyone who checks, any email service provider who checks against that blacklist is not going to deliver your emails. So green is good.
Okay.
The other thing you could do, if you are using a dedicated IP, you can put your IP address in there as well.
Okay.
So the domain might not be blacklisted, but the IP might. So again, but if you are using a shared one from HighLevel, can skip that because HighLevel will monitor their IP against all these lists on their own. You don't have to do that.
Okay.
But that looks good. Next thing I would check, I mean, how's your deliverability? How's your open rates? Because once these two things are right, your IP and your domain, that's probably 60% of your deliverability.
So then we're going to just kind of go to like some campaigns that I've sent.
Yes.
Okay. So here's a campaign and the 3 dots. So we go to statistics.
Yes. And we can load statistics there.
Okay. Yeah, this is interesting. So that's a lot of people that have skipped.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's not necessarily all right. So if you leave this screen up here for a second.
Okay.
So normally if I saw 59% delivered, oh my God, there's a huge problem. Right. Because you generally want your delivered to be 98% or higher.
Okay.
If it's 60, you go, oh my God, what's a problem? And you want to see, this is like a best case scenario when it's 60% delivered, by the way. Because 40% of them got skipped, which means the email never sent.
Yeah. But why? That's a lot.
Yeah. Skipped meaning that HighLevel saw something, either the DND was set on, which is usually the most common. So if you have a lot of people who set DND and you don't remove them from your mailing list, they just go in the skip folder.
Yeah.
Or it could be a duplicate record that they've already sent an email and it skipped them because they were on the list twice and we don't want to email the same person twice on a single broadcast.
Right.
75% of the time, that's going to be the skipped reason. You don't want to not deliver because they're soft bouncing, they're hard bouncing, that's what you don't want, which is good. You're at 0% soft bounce, 0.1% hard bounce.
Okay.
Which
and a low, looks like a low unsubscribe too.
Yep. Yeah. All those numbers there from soft bounce to spam, as long as you're under 2%, 1%, you're fine.
Okay.
But skipped, skipped, it's not hurting your deliverability as a skipped because it never actually sent.
Okay. But it's something I need to look into, right?
Right there. Look at that. Cannot send messages. DND is active.
DND is active. DND is active.
Yeah. So you got to go clean your list. Clean your smart list.
Okay.
So what I would do is if you sent this to a smart list, update your conditions on the smart list to include DND is off.
Oh, okay. Should we go do that right now?
Yeah, let's go do that.
So I'm gonna
yeah, we'll blur everyone out here.
Okay. So I'm gonna come here.
We're not blasting email addresses all over YouTube.
So come here and make a new smart list.
No. Where's the smart list that you have that you used for that?
Oh, okay. Well,
or did you?
Let's make. I think it's.
Doesn't open emails or click links. You know who you are if you're on that list.
Doesn't open emails or click links.
I might be on that list. I do the notification read. I'm like, oh, it's awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
So
let's do this one. Okay.
Okay. Tag is not okay. So now what you'll do is go to more filters.
Okay.
And then go and
right here.
Yep. And now in that search bar, put DND. And then click that. And then go is not enabled. No. Is not enabled for email. Yes. I had to think that one through.
So I wonder how
hit apply. So at 4,000, we just went from 4,000 to 2,992. Did you see that?
Oh, how do you see the? Oh, right there. At the top. So that alone, let's just watch that again. So 4,000 people. So I've already driven 25% of my list to unsubscribe.
Exactly. So that skip number we just cut in half.
Yeah. So DND is not enabled for email.
Yep.
But it doesn't cost me anything to attempt to send it to DNE. It doesn't cost me any money. But correct. Yeah, so now. Wow.
But now in your head, this kind of, so you're not sending to a list of 4,000.
Yeah.
You're sending to a list of 3,000.
3,000. Yeah. Okay.
Now, another thing I like to do to keep up deliverability while we're in here.
Yeah.
Is hit the and button again.
Okay.
Now go to type email as the search term.
Okay.
You go email, last open date
Last email open date. Okay.
is less than
Okay.
101 days ago.
Okay. So they've been interacting with things.
They've at least been lurking. If not clicking, they're opening.
Yeah.
So now we've
Okay.
got 1,992 people. So
That's yeah.
that knocked out another. So there's another 1,000 people that we knocked off that list who've been getting emails for you for almost 6 months and haven't opened a single one.
Yeah.
That is going to hurt your reputation. It's going to put you in spam. So I know it might be you or anyone else watching this who's like, I want to keep sending as many emails. They're never going to open them anyway.
Yeah. It's like I might as well. I was thinking I might as well not send the money to just, you know, to not have
Yeah,
it go and do anything.
exactly.
So I should resave this as my new
Yep.
active
Save that.
subscribe my
Your
save it
lean
all.
and mean sending
Yeah,
list
I'll
now.
save it as new. So
Yep.
I'll say my most active email list.
So
Okay.
now what's good about this too, also being a smart list, is that as new people come onto your list, they're going to add, and as they age out because they don't open anything,
Yeah.
they'll drop off.
So what about that first brand new person? Let's say you have an appointment with me. Now you're in my system. Why would you even be in here at all? Because you haven't D&D'd,
Yep.
but you also haven't opened something.
I think you open it when
Is that gonna exclude all the new people?
no, I think you have to send one. In my experience, it does not.
Okay.
I don't know how they
Oh,
handle
it's
the
gonna.
first you open.
On their back end, they're probably gonna let people have no
Yeah,
activity be in that
yeah, exactly.
filter. It's like
Yep.
yeah. Wow, that's an interesting thought.
And generally, right? Generally, if we have an appointment, I'm gonna open up the confirmation email.
True. Yeah,
So that's gonna put me in the list anyway.
fair enough.
I
I guess
I've
I was using it as an example, but yeah,
yeah, and I've never thought about that example. I'm just like, oh yeah, I never thought about it. They open emails, they're engaged, cool.
yeah. Not
Um,
like what if I literally like go right here and say add a new contact? Like are they gonna qualify? I
they
guess we could
might,
I guess we could test it, but
yeah.
so we have 1992. So if I say 1992 test 1992.com 19
So we go back. Do they need a tag to get on that list?
doesn't open no, oh, that's the absence of a tag. So yeah, it's 1992.
I think you'll be
Anyways,
okay. I mean, anybody you add cold. I mean, again though, you haven't. I wouldn't be emailing somebody you added cold anyway on a blast.
okay, all right, just yeah,
No.
thought
That's
experiment.
that's good to know. I haven't thought about that being. But again, if
Because
you have content and you've got what?
you do want your list to be ever be growing, not yeah.
Yeah. And again, I know psychologically, you're like, I just want to get to everybody, but not everybody's worth sending an email to.
No, no.
So by sending on that list, that's now you're going to get, that's going to be your highest opens. That's going to be your highest clicks. That's going to be your highest conversions. Now, if you wanted to, you could send people who basically the inverse of this list. So your reputation is going to increase, or your reputation basically gets reset every day. There's a big macro reputation, but there's also a daily reputation. So if you were to go ahead and you were to send an email to this list, super
Mm-hmm.
engaged, they're opening, they click, they do whatever. That sends a really good signal.
Yeah.
You can then have another list of basically the same conditions, but has not opened an email in 100 days.
Okay.
Okay. Then you can send that, and that's going to have a higher chance of inboxing because you sent to the good list first.
Mm.
So I
Okay.
generally don't do it,
Yeah.
but I have heard marketers having success with that.
Interesting. Okay.
But
So,
yeah,
okay. I wanted to share one other thing real quick, which was cool that I sent out an email. This cart was closing, and I
Hmm.
think it actually made a sale.
Yes.
So
Awesome.
let's see if I can find that. Look at that. Revenue generated. So they were able to track because the funnel was held in HighLevel, the
Hmm.
email was from HighLevel.
Yep.
They were able to tell that this person got the email, clicked on that link, and made a purchase.
Yes. I'm going to imagine that that purchase went through your own Stripe account though, right?
Yes.
Okay. That's the big, if you're doing affiliate marketing with this, it's not
Yeah.
going to, has
No.
to be your own products through your own Stripe account.
Yeah. My Stripe account, my funnel, all on HighLevel. That that email made me money.
Awesome. And now what I would say is you have to actually have that purchase tracking on when you send it.
Hmm. Okay. I guess I did.
Yes. If you go to like create a campaign,
Okay.
show the people of YouTube where this is,
Okay. So create a new campaign.
or at least you used to have to flip it on. Go to design edit. Either one doesn't matter.
I didn't think it mattered, but
No, I'm just so used to clicking design. It's like muscle memory.
yeah.
The text is new, and I'm like, I hate change. So okay, so
Okay.
all right, sender
Sender
schedule.
schedule.
Now, if you scroll down all the way down, see how it says track clicks and track UTM tracking.
Yeah.
I always check both of those on
Okay.
because that is what I believe is the email ROI testing that tracks everything. And if you also go into, if you have that on and somebody clicks from an email, it'll add the UTM to what email they clicked on when they purchased.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll
Okay.
see it not only when you look at the email campaign, but also on the customer record on that little, that little right side where it shows all their activity.
Yeah.
You'll see like a little red box purchased from email name.
Got it.
Yeah, and that's the same thing. Yeah,
This is the
I click them both on by default,
yeah.
and now it just adds it to every email.
Got it. Cool.
But that's yeah, to track your email. Like, is my email making me money? That's gonna give you a good idea. And then
Yeah.
attribution window five. I typically do 5 days. That's a good default.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And
So that 60% that we were looking at, um, you think that a lot of those were people that were they were unsubscribed, huh?
probably
Okay. Skipped.
skipped. And there
D&D,
we go.
D&D. Yeah.
D&Ds are unsubscribed. Yeah, it just happens. I had it a lot where it would go. So you if you have a static list that doesn't remove them when they're not DND, it just keeps, and you'll watch your delivered just kind of start to shrink.
Okay.
So that you won't, now that we've done that, you won't get that delivered. That deliverability is going to be in the 90s next time.
Well, yeah,
99, 98.
I did kind of start to change. I started to send it. They had that default thing, and so hope that's delivering a lot higher there.
Yep. And look at your skip though. Of the 8.5 missing, 8.2 is a skip.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's a huge improvement.
Yeah. I just used their default kind of engagement list.
Okay.
So why don't we talk a little bit about like what's a good open rate, what's a good click rate?
Okay. I mean, your open rate on that one is bananas,
Yeah.
as they say. That's really, really, really good.
What's like a
Typically, industry average, I've seen multiple numbers reported, but generally, industry average is anywhere from 20 to 25%. If
okay.
you can get 30 and above, you're good. If you're above 40, chasing 50, you're not much going to get much better than that.
Yeah.
The best marketer I've ever heard reported in terms of open rates was 52. I've never heard a number higher than 52.
Okay.
So,
On like a blast.
on a blast. Oh no, on a blast on the entire account.
Yeah.
So you could get a single blast that's like 70%
Yeah.
once. But if you go over for like the whole month, anything higher than like, again, if you're 40%, because we did this before and it was like for the past 3 months, you're something like 30 some percent, I think, which
Mm,
is good. So and generally your biggest driver of opens is going to be your subject line.
right.
And for all you AI marketers out there, do not use emojis and rockets in your subject lines. They get put in spam. And do not ever use a GIF, those little moving emojis. I've
Yeah.
only ever seen them on like the people who cold email you porn.
What is your take on using like the first name variable in the subject line? The, it could be
I've
like
not,
overused at this point, but
I never use it.
you never use it? Yeah.
No,
I do a mix. I do a mix.
okay. I feel like the only people who use it are marketers.
Hmm.
So I do everything possible to not look like a marketer in somebody's inbox. So I'll just say something like, "Hey, can you take a look at this?" Or "Hey,
Yeah.
I've got," or I'll make some sort of a joke in the just something
Yeah.
related to the content. I like misdirection, so I'll try to say something that's kind of off the wall as a subject line, or make them think that the email is going to be about one thing, and then when they open it up, I kind of walk it back in a different direction. But that also has to do with my brand. My brand being, I'm always kind of has a slight misdirector. You have to read things twice from me.
Got it. This click rate is probably not that great, right?
No, that one could be improved.
Okay.
But I could this be a second, third, fourth email in a campaign?
Right. It did kind of, you have to, this is like like a Cyber Week sale. Like everyone's probably tired of like, Black Friday's emails and they're just like,
Yeah. Yeah. Generally on the click side, I like to see at least 5% of people who opened click the email.
mm-hmm.
Now that number in the percentages on HighLevel is calculated off of delivered. So if you see, again, I was always trained back when I was in the car business was to count your opens or count your clicks on your opens. So 5% of people who open the email click on it, and 10% of the people who open it click is good. Like my goal is a 10% click on people who open.
Yeah. So if I had 100 people open it, if I had 10 click, that'd be pretty good.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is low. And maybe it's just cyber week fatigue, but it's
Yeah.
hard to say.
Generally, if you've got a multi-email campaign, right? I have 5 or 6 or 7 blasts on the same thing in a week,
Yeah.
like HighLevel loves to do.
Huh.
The first 2 or 3 are going to get 50% open, 10% click, right? Those are going to be your best numbers. And
Okay.
then as it kind of drags on, as you're talking about the same thing over and over and over again, you're going to see those numbers plummet.
Yeah.
So if you're toward the end, if you have a really good subject line, 50% of people are going to open. But he's already said about this already. I'm over it. A lot of people by like the 6th, 7th, 8th email have probably made a decision whether or not to buy.
Yeah. I have a hard time sending that many emails about the same thing, but you know,
Yeah. I
it's
always send at least 3.
good.
And here's the reason, is that not everybody opens the same. Like you might have 30% on every single email open, but it's not the same 30 people if your list is 100.
Sure.
So you might have between let's say you've got three emails at 30%, that might still only be 70% of your list that opened an email.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you're going to want to keep sending. But there is a point where it starts to drop off.
There is this resend email to unopened too. Have
I
you ever
like
used
that.
that?
I do. If I'm feeling lazy and I don't want to write if I don't want to write 4 unique emails, I'll just write 2 and then use that.
Yep. Because
But
yeah.
it's easy. But you have to wait. I think it has to wait 48 hours before you can resend.
Okay.
You can't do it you can't do an AM and a PM send.
Yeah. Give it some time.
Yes, but I do use that occasionally.
So we checked our domains. We have the dedicated domain. We're not on the blacklist. We're trying to email, to a clean list, kind of a self-clean self-cleaning list.
Yep.
Um,
Body copy. What are we doing for body copy and links inside there? Because there could be some things in there that are going to affect it. I know we kind of talked about this earlier, having that little link farm on the bottom, which I know I made
okay.
every email marketer cringe right now as they said that. It works for me.
Yeah.
So generally, if you've ever gotten, and let me see if I can pull up one of mine. I don't know if I might be able to share my screen here for a second, but
Yeah.
generally, if you have a suite of products, a full value ladder, generally what I would do is make a little box at the bottom in your email footer. And what that's going to do is it has all of your products into kind of a story, in a journey, in your customer journey. Don't reference it in any of your emails. Just have it there, staring them in the face. And you'll be surprised at how many people will just click that. If they
Mm-hmm.
get a newsletter about current events, people will still click those links on the bottom if they're in the market at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
Let me come over to here. Don't mean you to be looking at my ear. I'm on a other monitor here.
No worries.
Some people were like, why do I see your ear? I was like, it made me so self-conscious. Somebody said that.
Yeah,
Um,
you've got a kind of the kitty corner. You got a different take on your set.
yes.
I like it though. I like it. It's clean.
Thank you. Yeah, this is like version 12. There's been,
Make sure.
all right. So here we go. Let me go share my screen here. All right. This is a simple little email.
Not sure where to start.
Yeah, right here. So I've got my simple little email. I said, hey, finishing touches. I talk about a school group up here. Now this one's kind of promo because that's the main promo link that we've got. On the
Mm-hmm.
bottom, this is my footer. So I've got not sure where to start. Here's what I would do. This is like my super, super beginner stuff. Then I've got a little bit low ticket paid courses. And then I've got something that leads to a higher ticket offer.
Mm-hmm.
So people will come in, people will read my emails, but it's just kind of sitting there, kind of staring them
Yeah, I
in
like
the
it.
face. Now, the right now year locate like the footer from HighLevel. I put
Mm-hmm.
that on everything, which also has the privacy policy. If you have a link to a privacy policy, I noticed that actually that increases deliverability
Mm.
because they're getting a little more strict with that.
Mm-hmm.
And then this little bit down here about you can unsubscribe, and it's almost like a little a link to terms and conditions.
Yeah.
That also increased my deliverability,
Hmm.
and it let me inbox more because from what I understand, and this was like 5 or 6 podcasts and a couple of YouTube videos where I kind of came across this, is that the email servers will read this footer and they'll see that you have a link to a privacy policy in your terms, and they're like, okay, they're being compliant. We're going to send them in the inbox.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you've got your unsubscribe on the bottom here.
Yeah.
However, this is not a regular unsubscribe email.
Oh.
This is not a stock HighLevel unsubscribe. It's a trigger link,
Mm-hmm.
which if we click, it should, I'm not logged in.
Oh.
It leads to a page with an unsubscribe survey that
Mm-hmm.
I get the responses.
You could like remove them from the workflow, but not necessarily.
Doesn't DND them. It just
Keep
removes
it.
them from all my marketing stuff.
Yeah.
Because I was running into something where I tend to be sometimes aggressive when there's a big promotion going on and people
Mm-hmm.
unsubscribe, which I get.
Mm-hmm.
But then they go to log into a course or reset a password. They don't get the email.
Yeah.
I go in and 100 times out of 100, when that happens, DND. I was like, oh, of course.
Yeah.
So now I put a trigger link to a workflow that removes them from marketing, but it looks like a regular unsubscribe link.
Awesome.
So
Okay,
that's
I'm
my
gonna
little.
start sharing again.
Yep.
Yeah, I have played with that too. It's a little bit complicated, right? Because do you want to unsubscribe them from this current workflow, or maybe that promotion, or
Mhm.
high level's got all the different categories of things you can unsubscribe to. It just depends on how big you are.
Yeah. So for me, I generally have I have a marketing broadcast list. I get
Hmm.
from the Russell Brunson days. My tag is literally Dom's Seinfeld list.
Yeah,
So when they hit that unsubscribe, it removes the Seinfeld list tag. So they don't get any of my big blasts.
yeah,
And then I don't have any long-term marketing sales workflows. But if they are in any kind of if they're any kind of autoresponder, like I've got some for some of the programs I got like a 5 or 6 email sequence.
yeah.
Anytime I make a new outreach sequence, I make sure to add the remove from that workflow to the trigger link workflow.
Got it.
It's extra work. It's a little complex, but it cleared up some support tickets of people going, I never got a login when they were just unsubscribed.
Got it. So we have our benchmarks. We should be shooting for 20 to 40% opens.
Yes.
Hopefully 90+% delivered.
Yeah, 98% delivered.
98% delivered. And then clicks as many as possible, but 1 to 2%, 5%, 5 or 10% of the opened.
Of the opens. Yeah, I don't know what the math is on. I think it was at whatever the math is for cent, you can figure that out. I always calculate based on people who opened. So 5 to 10% on opens.
Got it.
But that's there. And then again, your subject line is going to be your biggest driver of opens. And then your email body copy is going to be your biggest driver of clicks. That's going to be what's going to be your driver of clicks.
So you can kind of reverse engineer and say, if my clicks are not where they should be, let me go look at the body copy. If my opens aren't where they should be, let me look at the subject line copy.
Yep.
Okay, now how do you get a sense on whether or not it's going to spam or promotions or anything like that? Like, is there a way to
It used to be magic, but now HighLevel released some. Now, full disclaimer, I've not played with this.
Okay. Well,
but now they have this. So if you go into the email settings,
okay,
email services, see where it says Postmaster tools?
Okay.
You can now hook up to Google Postmaster.
Okay. Should I do
Same thing. See how it says Microsoft Sends on the other side too?
Mm-hmm.
You can hook up to those. And it'll tell you whether you inboxed, whether you went promotions, whether you went spam.
How do I know what email address I should connect into here?
I don't know. There's probably documentation. At the time we're recording this is like 2 weeks old, maybe. This is like fresh. But that's how you're gonna figure it out. It used to be vibes. Like I wouldn't really care where I ended up as long as my open rate was fine. Because generally that's something, if your open rate's good, you're landing in inbox. And if you're not landing in, so if you're getting low opens and you're changing your subject and you can't get it to pop, it's probably because you're ending up in promotions or spam. But now with the Postmaster, we can go one level up and see where it landed.
So what if somebody says, hey, I was on ActiveCampaign and I was getting 40% opens. I moved to HighLevel and now it's 17% opens. I didn't change anything else. What do you think's going on?
Well, you did change something.
Yeah.
You changed the IP address that you're sending from.
Yeah.
So what happened was you were sending from ActiveCampaign's IP and now you're sending from HighLevel's IP. Now, or ActiveCampaign is like the best deliverability of the email specialists. So you're probably going to see a slight dip for a while. Now, I did a bounty hunter ticket on this the other day.
Yeah.
So somebody went in, I think it was from ActiveCampaign actually. So they went from, they dropped in their open rate, but when they set up their HighLevel account, they set up a new subdomain, which was cold. So it just needed to be warmed. So what we did, rather than warming up the new domain, because they went from mail.theirdomain.com to email.theirdomain.com. New domain, cold, affected their deliverability. So what we did was we swapped it back to mail.theirdomain.com. And I think yesterday or today is the first test. They had a blast going out. We're hoping it fixed it. So yeah, so we changed, because when they flipped over, they changed the IP and they also changed the domain. But now we got the domain with the good reputation, and HighLevel has a good reputation, so we should be good again.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, looking at your email stuff, all your tech settings look good. In terms of your subject lines, they're obviously on point because you're getting that 40-ish% opens. I would look at the body copy. and then just clean up that. We already cleaned up the smart list. So now your list is going to be clean. You're not going to get those skips.
Yeah.
So
So I just okay, your domain is not added to so I haven't added this domain to the tool. So I haven't really used Google Postmaster, so it probably doesn't matter which account you use here when you connect it to um and then from there you're gonna add the domain to that same one. I'm guessing.
yeah,
I'm guessing it doesn't really matter which Gmail account you pick if you haven't already set it up. If you haven't already set this domain up with one. So maybe I need to like log in here.
maybe. If you're in
Google
the comments, let us know.
Postman tools. Get started. Be a better sender. Get started. Oh, okay. So we have that. So next. And then you have to add this little guy.
DNS record.
Okay, I guess we could try to do this.
Do it live.
Might have to go out to Cloudflare.
Which, by the way, anybody on HighLevel, get to Cloudflare for your DNS. It
Yeah.
makes your life so much easier. And
Very
they don't send as many two-factor authentication codes as GoDaddy.
cool.
Every time I go to GoDaddy, it's literally anything. It's a new two-factor authentication code.
Where should I go from here?
All right, so go to click on the website. I guess and now DNS on the left side.
Okay, so now I'm adding.
Oh wait, hold on. You're on James.
Yeah,
is it James Hurst or DDX Web? Go back to HighLevel.
Oh, good point.
Yeah,
this is DDX Web.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
Okay, I need to get into a different
HighLevel or Cloudflare account.
Cloudflare. Yeah. Okay, good call. So let's do that.
Now, click on DDX Web there.
Okay.
DNS. Now let's go add record. And then TXT record. I just work left to right.
TXT.
And then what is it? James Hurst, I think is what it is. Is that jameshurst.dds?
Oh,
no, that goes in the content.
right there.
Yeah, there it is. Perfect.
See, I'm using my thing.
Yeah, that's the coolest thing in the world. Once you're done there, hit save.
Okay.
Okay, now we got to let DNS do its thing.
Okay.
Although Cloudflare is fast, another reason why to use them.
So we could try to hit verify.
Let's try it. Let's see. They're usually they're the fastest.
There you go.
Dang, done. If that were GoDaddy, we'd be waiting.
Okay, so now if we come back here, is it gonna
refresh?
Okay. Just give it some time, you think?
Yeah, probably.
So eventually we'll start getting some records in here, huh?
Yep. As you start sending, it'll show you volume of reported spam. But I think you can also, see where it says spam rate in the big blue bar?
All of this here.
Yeah, and see like delivery errors, domain reputation, IP reputation. You can watch that change over time.
Okay. Very cool.
So, yeah, this is a whole new frontier in terms of data for HighLevel. I've not gotten into it, but
what's new? Brand new.
It's new. Well, Postmaster is not new,
yeah.
But the integration with HighLevel is new.
Yeah.
But all the stuff that it was for me was just theory and vibes. Now we're actually going to be able to quantify.
All right. What else is there? You're saying you've given us some great tips and things to check.
Yeah. No, I think this is that's everything. We again start with your tech. Start with your IP, with your domain, with your DMARC. We've done all that. Get your tech right, And then it's really just a matter of don't use emojis in your subject lines. Don't use like free money now in your subject lines. Just generally all caps or ellipses, probably not good. But again, when it comes to subject lines, though, if you're getting good opens and clicks, you can get away with more of that stuff. So that's what so again, it's once you get your tech right, it's a lot of subjectiveness.
The art and science.
What'd you say?
The art and science.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you're getting good metrics, you can get away with traditionally bad email practices. But yeah, once your tech is right and you're getting engagement, I generally just do it on a campaign by campaign basis.
Thank you, dudes. Appreciate that so much. Guys, check out Dom. He's got his YouTube channel, youtube.com/Dom Bavaro, DOMBAVARO. He's a SaaSpreneur Award winner. He's got a lot of insights. And yeah, thanks so much for taking the time. This was good.
Oh, thanks for having me, man. This was fun.
All right, guys. With that being said, leave a comment down below if you have any questions for Dom, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. Take care.
See you there. Take care, guys.
Hope you enjoyed the show. Advice given is for educational purposes only and may not be applicable to your business. You should know that the Marketing Show receives compensation through its affiliate relationship for the products and services it recommends. Thank you for your support, and we hope to see you on the next episode of The Marketing Show.